There you go. All right, as we turn our hearts and minds to the Word of God, Luke chapter 18, a whole lot of reading along this part for me, if you will. Let me read verses 31 through 43. And the Word says, Then he took unto him the 12 and said unto them, Behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and all things that are written by the prophets concerning the Son of Man shall be accomplished. For he shall be delivered unto the Gentiles, and shall be mocked and spitefully entreated and spitted upon his mouth. And they shall scourge him and put him to death, and the third day he shall rise again. And they understood none of these things, and this saying was hid from them, neither knew they the things which were spoken. And it came to pass that he was come nigh unto Jericho. A certain blind man sat by the wayside, hearing the multitude of the crowd, all of this commotion going on, passed by. The blind man says, because he can't see, so he says, or in other words, what's going on? What's all this noise out here? What's the commotion about? And they told him that Jesus of Nazareth passeth by. They told him, Jesus of Nazareth passeth by. He cried, saying, Jesus, thou son of David, have mercy upon me. And they which went before rebuked him that he should hold his peace. Or in other words, blind man, shh. Curse. Boy, making all that noise. He's a blind man for our visitor that didn't know that he literally blind. And so they're telling him, be quiet. All right. And so Jesus stood and commanded him to be brought unto him. And when he was come near, he asked him, Jesus to the blind man, saying, what wilt thou that I should do unto thee? And he said, Lord, that I may receive my sight. Wouldn't it seem obvious that if the man was blind, Jesus would know what he needed, right? But how do you know sometimes the Lord knows what you need? But he won't do it until you do something on your part. It ain't nothing but an ask. Alright? So see, in the words of the cliche of our foreparents of Grandmama Nim, if you make one step, amen. Somebody tell me you got to do something on your part. There are some people that always want everything to be done for them. You know, got a catering mentality. You want everything brought to them. Something you got to work for. Right? I know work is a four-letter word, but that's a good one. Right? Jesus said to him, receive thy sight, thy faith has saved thee, and not a way after a while. Not later on, but immediately he received his sight and followed him, glorifying, praising God, if you will. And all the people, when they saw it, gave praise unto God. God used that situation to make others give him praise. Oh my goodness. Could it be that your situation is just a setup? And though it seems like a setback, it's a setup for a comeback. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I want to talk about Jesus of Nazareth is passing by. Shake somebody's hand and say, Jesus of Nazareth is passing by. Thank you so kindly. You may be seated in the house of the Lord. Jesus tells his disciples when we read this passage in verses 31 through 34 that seems to be once again ambiguous language, or it's something that's like it's thrown off, man. That's like that don't match with what I'm talking about at the moment and what have you. And so Jesus tells his disciples that they must go to Jerusalem, and this journey ultimately would lead to the cross, and the prophecies concerning him would be fulfilled, like the Isaiah and Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, all those who who talked about his coming, and he had been headed toward the cross all of his life. And nearing at Jericho here, they meet a blind beggar. It's not a chance, if you will, or accident, nor incident that they meet this beggar, but it's a setup so that the Lord could use this situation to bring him some glory. So reaching one more soul on the way to Calvary is what he does. And so I want to lift up a couple of things from this passage. The first thing here is that there is the blind man's condition. The blind man's condition. I know that you're probably feeling pretty smart and somewhat of an academician and say, oh, now Pastor Payne, come on, give me a break. I already know the blind man's condition. He's blind. All right. Can I tell you that, listen, when you're reading the Bible, make certain that you don't get a spiritual speeding ticket for reading too fast. You got to learn how to read the Word of God and do like Martin the comedian, say, let it marinate for a little while. You know, let it marinate. It's a man thing. You got to learn how to read the Word of God and then be able to look at the Word of God and then let it work on you for a little while. Everybody listening to me on this morning. And so look at it. Here is the man's condition. The problem that he faced is that, listen, he couldn't see light, and that's a blind man, can't see the light. I know some folk who are physically have 20/20 vision physically, but spiritually they're blind because they can't see the light. Well, I don't think I'm not going to explain it if you didn't get that. Listen, look at his condition was he often, because of his ailment, stumbled along his way. I know some folk who can see physically, but often stumble. Y'all ain't talking to me up in here. Along the way. Look at this guy's condition. He had been led by others all of his life. I know some folk who can see physically, but being led, y'all ain't talking to me here, by others all of their life. This guy lived off of the handouts of the world. I know some folk who can see physically 20/20 vision, but spiritually they are living off of the handouts of the world, always looking for what somebody else is going to do for them. This guy pictures the spiritual blindness of all lost people. Jesus said in Matthew 15 and verse 14 that the Pharisees were blind. He said also in Matthew that, listen, those who followed them were also blind. And if the blind leads the blind, y'all ain't talking to me up in here today, that they were going in ditch. And so until conversion happens, Paul declares in 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 14 that all are spiritually blind. Now I know that, listen, there may be some people walking around with 20/20 vision physically, but the reason why many times that people cannot comprehend the things of the spiritual, or if you will, the things of the church, the things of the ecclesiastical group, things that are done within the church, they can't comprehend it. It don't make any sense to them. It's because, listen, they don't have the propensity, they don't have the necessary tools to understand the things of the Spirit. And that's why they look at you like you crazy